Hey everybody, if you want to know about travertine, you've come to the right place. This video is on evidence of travertine found on Mars, but the process is the same, indicating that Mars had a lot of water at one time. But as we know, that's not the situation now. These are 3 NASA photos taken by the Mars rover Curiosity on the Sol camera. And they just happen to be the one that our local YouTube illusionist over at Mars Illusions is using to try to convince people that the entire area is strewn with all kinds of artifacts indicating intelligent life on Mars, but it is actually advertised as being solid proof. Okay, so these 3 photos, by the way, might want to keep your eyes out and get your magnifying glasses out as instructed by the illusionist, and you'll see quite a lot of interesting things, and we'll get back to that in a minute. But right now what I want to do is show you the travertine deposit on Mars. It's another picture of the area. Notice the type of stone here is just pretty much a broken up mudstone, sandstone maybe. There's probably limestone. But this is the picture, the photo, that has the travertine deposit on it. I'll try to zoom this in a little bit here. There's not much left, just a very little tiny piece of the actual travertine pool. And you can see it right here. I hope you can see this. There's a sharp edge here. This had to have continued over here. This is just worn down. And then note the little disc of the hard material here that's actually overhanging out here. And then it's got this over the top of it. This has all been eroded out. This looks like it's the same hard, super hard layer as this is. And this is part of a that would be a very tiny travertine pool. This is a piece that looks like it went on the edge. You can tell with a high side on it here, and that this is where the pool was, or it was oriented in there. And another thing, this travertine usually has this wavy sedimentary look to it. So this is calcium. Probably has a little argonite in it if it was really hot. This circular thing is kind of interesting. Zoom in a little bit. Seems a little weird. So all the rest of this stone here is probably the same thing. This is probably some kind of travertine, or possibly limestone, but in any case, this is an indication. Water does this. It fills up the little ponds. Like that. Those are on Earth. But you get the same layering. The one that in the photo on Mars is a very tiny one of these, probably like down here somewhere. Everything else has just been eroded away. Here's one with probably the red algae There's Travertine again. So you can see it forms very massive deposits. So the one we're looking at on Mars is just, very small, but it's a sign. Here's the wiki article, tells you what Travertine is. And you can go back if you want to read that. This is the geochemistry of it. Pretty much tells you everything you need to know. So you can, read that if you want to. In the meantime, and there really isn't anything else to see in this photo, by the way, other than that. That's curious that it has, almost looks hollow there, but that can happen. Thought that was a strange shape, but certainly no indication of intelligent life on Mars. Yeah, no matter how much you look at this thing, I mean, this is interesting, but we have this rock that apparently, I mean, we're not looking at granite here or basalt. This is all just, as far as I'm concerned, fairly soft. The Travertine's probably not that soft, but there isn't really that much of it. And if you look around, well, like some of the other pictures, this stone is, oops, that's just cracked. It's polygonal, cracked, probably mudstone. This was from, it was wet, so it was probably the bottom of a body of water. But it's really, there's just a lot of ways that can form. But it's probably not just sandstone from like wind erosion. But this, on the other hand, when you see the high ridges like that, that's Travertine. That's not much left of it, but even that part doesn't have any. But I have a feeling there's probably more of that. If you follow the link, you might be able to find some other of the photos that might have more of those. So that's pretty much it on the Travertine part. So let's take a look at these photos and see if there's anything indicating intelligence. Oh, look. Well, let's see what we have here. We've got triangle-shaped rocks, more square 90 degrees. As everybody knows, a 90 degrees anything indicates intelligent manufacture. Pyramid rocks over there. Got more interesting features here. Shapes, we don't know what they are. Well, it looks like we could have a hammer. We've got screwdrivers. And so we see all these signs of intelligence, I guess, on Mars. And if you get your magnifying glasses out and get back a little bit and enjoy those pixels on your monitor, you'll see we have building blocks, and there's a face down there. There's a face, and then in here there's some kind of it's like a statue or something on the side of a rock. And so that's interesting. And, I don't know what that could be. So, moving on to the next photo, we have even more things. There's just so many artifacts lying around that's just indicating all this intelligence on Mars. I mean, where do you start, you know? I mean, look at all these shapes. Look at a plane there. There's a little plane. Here's a pyramid. We have just more unexplained shapes or something sticking out there like a little antenna. We've got this rock that doesn't belong there. Something indicating an old shovel possibly. These holes here on the right, well, they're not rodent holes or anything. Those actually holes, but I think those were dug by the rover. And just like these over here, but on the same time we have interesting shapes. We have a tiny house. You know, there's all these things that just come out. You know how to you just mess with the contrast and so on, and all these things just come right out because you know NASA's been burying. They hide all this stuff from you. See, and everything's hidden. This is the same story. We have, of course, probably what the picture was really about was the hot springs or, you know, travertine deposit there. But there are other things as well. We have over here, it looks like it could be a fish, some kind of a fish fossil. We have a tiny little fossil there, more building blocks. Tiny, yeah, okay. This interesting round pile of rocks up here with another, looks like a statue down below. Another, some kind of a flying ship or something. More interesting shapes back there that resemble the statue heads. So, there you go. Travertine on Mars. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day.